You know how to drive, right? Of course you do. You drove here today. I'm not here to teach you that. You know how to drive safely as well, right? Of course you do. Everybody does. Traffic laws, pedestrians, following distances, the list goes on and on and on. Obviously, not everybody knows how to drive safely. Or maybe they know how and choose not to. Which category do you fall into? We know you know how to drive safe, but do you? I mean, I know the speed limit's 65, but if I go 100 anyways, what does that knowledge get me? When you get right down to it, it's not really a matter of knowledge at all, but a matter of responsibility. You have a responsibility to yourself, your family, the company, other motorists, and their families to operate your vehicle in a manner that doesn't put you, them, or anybody else at risk. We'll cover a few things to make sure you're doing just that. We'll talk about safe driving techniques, stopping distances, distracted driving, and vehicle inspection and others. Motor vehicle accidents are the leading cause of death in the American worker. Improper speed, following too close, driving while intoxicated, or driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and failure to obey traffic signals are the leading causes of collisions. Speeding results in 12,000 traffic deaths per year. For every 10 miles per hour over 50 miles an hour, the risk of death is doubled. By following traffic safety laws, being aware, and using common sense, you can minimize your risk. Prior to getting in the vehicle, take a look around the vehicle. Note any damage to the vehicle or fluid leaks. One of the most critical parts of the inspection is the inflation, tread depth, and general condition of the tires. Tread depth can be easily measured by observing tread wear bars or using a penny to measure the remaining tread. If a part of Lincoln's head is covered, there's the minimum 2/32 remaining. But remember, that's the bare minimum. Steer tires must have 4/32 tread remaining. When starting the vehicle, note warning lights and gauges. Check and adjust mirrors and headrest prior to moving the vehicle. Make sure the windows are completely clear of snow, ice, and fog before starting to drive. First things first, always wear your seatbelt. Wearing a seatbelt is the single most important thing you can do to protect yourself in the event of a crash. Next, obey all posted speed limits at all times. If the sign says 55, how fast should you be traveling? Obvious, right? Not necessarily. In inclement weather such as rain, snow, or fog, the posted speed limit may not be safe. Slow down in inclement weather, and when the sun's out, do the speed limit. It may take your vehicle longer to stop than you may think. For this reason, we recommend a minimum of a 3-second following distance in dry conditions. To determine this distance, watch the rear bumper of the vehicle just ahead as it passes a stationary marker, such as a signpost or telephone pole, and count 1001, 1002, 1003. As you say 3, your front bumper should reach that marker. If you reach it before that point, reduce your speed by a few miles per hour and recheck your distance. Increase the following distance 1 second for each of the following conditions: adverse weather conditions, heavy traffic, following a truck, night driving or poor visibility, being tailgated, and driving while stressed or fatigued. Plain and simple. Leave more cushion and slow down. Remember, your vehicle has areas called blind spots you cannot see without properly adjusted mirrors. Adjust your mirrors before you start your car, and be aware of your blind spots at all times. You should keep your eyes moving and scan your mirrors approximately every 5 to 10 seconds to keep a constantly updated picture of what's going on around you. Intersections are responsible for over 50% of all accidents. When approaching intersections, scan to the left, then to the right, and then back to the left for vehicles that may run a stop sign or light, or for pedestrians and bicyclists. Remember, always leave yourself an out. Anticipate what mistakes others may make and assume that they will make them. If there is a stop sign, make sure you come to a complete stop and let other vehicles with the right-of-way proceed. Don't force the issue. If the intersection is lighted, be aware of stale green lights. This means if the light has been green for some time, be ready for it to change to yellow and adjust your speed accordingly. When stopping at an intersection, stop so you can see the rear tires of the vehicle in front of you. This will allow extra space in front of you in case the vehicle behind you bumps into you. Also, if the vehicle in front stalls, you'll have room to maneuver around the vehicle. When traffic starts, delay your start for 2 seconds after the vehicle in front of you starts to move. This will give you time to react if the vehicle in front of you suddenly stops. When following trucks, or when stopped behind a truck, stay back far enough so that you can see both of the truck's rear view mirrors. If you cannot see their mirrors, they cannot see you. Also, following a truck too closely means you cannot scan ahead. Avoid aggressive driving, speeding, tailgating, failure to signal a lane change, running red lights and stop signs, weaving in traffic, yelling, making obscene gestures, excessive use of the horn. Each of these are hazardous and can result in accidents and injuries. When behind a slow driver, do not tailgate. Pass only if safe and legal to pass. If the vehicle is swerving, it may mean they're distracted, fatigued, lost, or under the influence. Be ready for someone to change lanes or stop unexpectedly. By anticipating hazards, you'll increase your safety and the safety of your passengers. In the same way, you need to make sure that you don't create the same hazards. Always signal before changing lanes and avoid abrupt braking. By planning ahead, you're making the roads safer for you and the other vehicles around you. On a 2-lane road, you should only pass another vehicle when absolutely necessary. Never pass when there is limited visibility. No passing zones, school zones, railroad crossings, intersections, or bridges and tunnels. When passing, observe the 3-second following rule before passing in order to give visibility around the vehicle being passed. Wait for clear space of oncoming traffic and when it is legal to pass. Signal intention. Check the rearview mirrors and blind spots to make sure a vehicle behind you is not trying to pass at the same time. Pull out into oncoming lanes and quickly accelerate, but do not exceed the speed limit. Pull back into the lane when you can see the vehicle you just passed in your rearview mirror. When passing a truck, increase the distance before pulling back into your lane so that you can see in your rearview mirror the pavement between you and the truck. The point is to be ready to make good driving decisions yourself and be ready to make up for the mistakes of other drivers. It doesn't matter whose fault an accident is if you or your family is seriously injured or killed. It's your responsibility to drive defensively to avoid an accident, even if another driver makes a mistake. Do not drive in adverse weather unless absolutely necessary. If you have to drive, Keep windows clear of ice, snow, and fog. Use the what-if strategy. Always have a way out. Remember, shaded road areas may be icy and bridges and overpasses ice first in winter. Proceed over these with caution. Reduce speed. Remember, the posted speed limit is for ideal conditions and adjust following distances an extra second. Keep emotions under control, even if you're late for an appointment. Make sure your headlights are on in the rain. In fog or snow, they should be on low beam. If your vehicle starts to skid, ease off the accelerator. Turn the steering wheel in the direction you want the vehicle to go. If the vehicle has ABS brake system, keep foot firmly on the brake. You may hear a popping sound or feel vibration on the foot pedal. That's okay. If non-ABS brakes, pump the brake pedal. Hydroplaning or aquaplaning occurs when a layer of water builds between the tires of the vehicle and on the road surface, leading to the loss of traction, preventing the vehicle from responding to control inputs such as steering, braking, or accelerating. In the rain, if your car begins to hydroplane, release the accelerator. Do not brake. Steer in the direction you want the car to go. So now we've established you need to use your eyes while you drive. But what are you using your eyes for? Looking at the scenery? Not good. Checking your email or looking at your laptop? Really bad idea. Texting your significant other? Not good either. Do you want to wake up in the middle of the night in a panic thinking about how your texting resulted in the loss of life? Scenery, email, laptops, friends, spouses, these are all good things. Great things, actually. Just not while you're driving. Why? That's easy. Distracted driving results in 1.4 million crashes a year, and it's against company policy. Let's start with the emails and laptops. Of course, you shouldn't be checking your email, reading your email, playing solitaire, or anything else on a computer while you drive. You know this. If you're the type of person who just can't resist, keep your computer closed and in the case. No more temptation and one less potential crash. Look, we know you're busy. We get that. But that's no excuse for distracted driving. Cell phones. Can't get by today without one. But did you know drivers that use cell phones are 4 times as likely to get into crashes serious enough to injure themselves or others? 4 times. The odds are not in your favor. Simply reaching for the phone to make or receive a call or dialing numbers takes drivers' eyes off the road. This distraction might only last a second, but at only 35 miles an hour, in 1 second, they've lost more than 50 feet of stopping distance. Being on the phone is distracting, but you've got a Bluetooth and that makes you safe, right? Well, actually no. It does allow you to keep both hands on the wheel, but studies have shown that there's absolutely no difference. Even with a hands-free device, cell phone use reduces the amount of brain activity associated with driving by 37%. If you need to talk to someone, pull over to a safe area, stop your car, and talk. That way, you take care of business, but you don't put yourself or others at risk. The caller will appreciate it, since you can now devote your full attention to the caller. But I'm not texting. This is a BlackBerry. Doesn't matter. Using a keyboard or reading the screen of a wireless communication device, such as a BlackBerry, is prohibited. Just like regular cell phones, the only time these devices may be used is if the vehicle has been pulled safely off to the side of the road. Cell phones are not the only thing in a car that gets our attention and takes our eyes off the road. Changing radio stations, inserting CDs in the player, looking for things in the glove box, programming the GPS. Even personal grooming or smoking are common distracted driving hazards. Avoid these activities unless parked. Now let's talk about another real hazard on the road, falling asleep. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration data indicates that in recent years there have been about 56,000 crashes annually in which driver drowsiness or fatigue was cited by police. Annual averages of roughly 40,000 non-fatal injuries and 1,550 fatalities resulted from these crashes. These statistics are probably a little conservative. Studies have shown drowsy drivers exhibit the same increased reaction times and poor judgment as a driver who is legally intoxicated. The point is, get plenty of rest. You'll do a better job and be a better driver. If you're tired or drowsy, then pull off the road and get some rest, or get out and walk around your car if you're on a long trip. You should stop about every 2 hours or less. You can avoid unnecessary backing by pulling through a parking space so you do not have to back out. If you must back, it is better to back in when you approach your destination instead of backing out when leaving. But if you must back up, before getting into the vehicle, walk around the vehicle to make sure there is nothing in the way before backing. Back slowly and carefully. If you are involved in a vehicle accident, never leave the scene. Call emergency personnel if necessary. Do not attempt to move an injured person unless there is a life-threatening situation, such as a fire, and the occupant is unable to get out. Do not admit guilt or discuss whose fault the accident was. If your company has an accident reporting kit, make sure you use it. Take photos of the accident scene showing vehicle locations, direction of travel, vehicle and other property damage, location of traffic control device, the license plate of the vehicles involved, etc. Depending on state law, move your vehicle to the side of the road if there are no injuries and minor damage. Obtain names, phone numbers of all involved parties and witnesses. Have witnesses write out what they saw. Obtain insurance information of all parties involved. Insurance company name, policy number, telephone number, expiration date, name of insured on the policy. If the police are on the scene, obtain police officer's name, badge number, police report file number, and phone number. Once you have gathered the required information, contact your supervisor. Remember, every driver and passenger on the road is someone's family. You are in control of your vehicle. Don't give up control to your emotions or to other drivers. Control your actions and how you deal with traffic, weather, and emotions. The average driver will be involved in 6 collisions in a lifetime. Don't be average. Have we covered every possible situation you may face on the road? Of course not. That's why it's so important to use your common sense and good judgment at all times. Remember these 7 habits of defensive driving. Always wear your seatbelt. Continuously evaluate driving conditions. Scan ahead and use the what-if strategy. Maintain personal control, even if other drivers don't. Observe the 3-second following distance rule. Recognize hazards, understand the defensive measures, and act. Be patient with other drivers. Courtesy, respect, and dignity. Thanks for watching.